Now, I want to go on to other issues now, and there was more terrible news out of the Middle East over the weekend, just sickening news. Now, we all know about the trauma in southern Israel, of course, the slaughter of more than 1,200 people on October the 7th and the ensuing war, and the way tens of thousands of people have been unable to return to their homes in that area because Hamas still fires rockets there, and funded by Iran, Hamas is still dedicated to killing innocents. Well, I've also told you, because most media doesn't bother, that tens of thousands of people in northern Israel, innocent civilians, have become refugees in their own country too, having to move away because of thousands of rockets fired from Lebanon by Hezbollah, another Islamist extremist terrorist group funded and backed by Iran. Well, as you know, one of these rockets hit Islamist extremist pay dirt, is what you would call it, because this is what they want to do on the weekend, because they killed innocent young civilians.
Driven by curiosity, driven by collective grief, the people of Majdal Shams were drawn to the football pitch in the centre of town, a place of indiscriminate slaughter where their children had come to play. 12 youngsters between the ages of 11 and 16 killed in a playground by a powerful rocket. The town siren had been triggered, but the people on the pitch only had a few seconds to leave. A shelter nearby proved too far for many.
Yeah, young people playing soccer. That was in the Golan Heights. Its territory used to be occupied by Syria, but held by Israel since it came under attack in that six-day war of 1967. And this settlement and the victims there were mainly Arab people as well. They're Druze Arabs, people who, thousands of whom live happily and peacefully in Israel. So let me just summarise the situation as it stands there in Israel at the moment. Because on October the 6th last year, despite all the past wars and the waves of terrorism and all the ongoing tensions and threats, Israel was running along peacefully enough. Its military was not in Gaza. It had not occupied Gaza since 2005, when it withdrew and handed Gaza over to the Palestinians to run, and they tragically chose the Islamist terrorists of Hamas to run the show for them. But on October the 7th last year, hundreds of Hamas terrorists left Gaza, infiltrated southern Israel and slaughtered more than 1,200 people. They slaughtered men, women, children and babies. They slaughtered elderly people. They slaughtered families in their homes. They raped and murdered young people at the Nova Music Festival. They hunted down girls and shot them point blank, and they took hundreds of hostages. So Israel since then has been at war with Hamas, who continue to fire rockets indiscriminately at Israeli towns. Then Hezbollah started firing rockets into northern Israel. And on top of that, Iran, the country funding and arming both Hamas and Hezbollah, launched a direct drone attack itself. And then this month, there was a drone attack in the heart of Israel, in Tel Aviv, killing one person, injuring many others, and it came from the Houthi rebels in Yemen, another Iranian-backed Islamist terrorist group. So Israel is under attack from 3 Iranian-backed Islamist terror groups and from Iran itself. These attacks are coming from the south, from the north, and from the east. And they are coming from groups using the most vile terrorist tactics, deliberately targeting innocent civilians, methods that are clear war crimes. Yet most of the international pressure, including from our own government, is on who? Yes, it's on Israel. Somehow Israel is to blame. Why? For existing? Or for daring to defend itself? This condemnation of Israel, this onus on the victim to bear responsibility for the attacks, well, it's morally repugnant, obviously, and it's also a strategic dead end. Because the trouble is this condemnation of Israel, rather than a global commitment to wipe out the terrorist groups or put more pressure on Iran, This condemnation of Israel just adds to the problem. It just fuels the ambitions of the terror groups, adds to their support, and it perpetuates the horror.